Welcome back. We're here at the Book of Eli. We have our new guest, Royale, R&B singer.
Royale.
We have my lovely co-host here, Ms.Redd over here. Ghetto Ghandi to my right.
Woo, woo.
Miss Tye. So we just heard your song out here. Tell us a little bit about yourself. From Book of Elii.
Alright, well, my name is Royale, like y'all heard. I was born in Harlem. Was raised out in Queens, South Jamaica, Queens. Growing up as a teenager, I ended up moving to Florida for some time, Orlando. Spent some time out there. That's why I started focusing more so on my music. I actually wrote my first song when I was 6. But yeah, I was pretty nice kid as a kid. So yeah, I spent a lot of time focusing on music and R&B. That's what I do. And then eventually, you know, as I was trying to pursue my career out there, it wasn't really buzzing as much as it should have been. So I decided to make a conscious decision in 2006 to move back to New York and move to Harlem, where my family's from. And then that's how I started again. You know, just pushed really hard, you know, trying to pursue this music. You know, as an independent artist, it's not easy to get that buzz, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do out there. And then, you know, a lot of things happen, you know, having kids, stuff like that. So kind of took a little hiatus for a little while, but I'm back. You know, I got this new single I dropped July 4th called Compatible. Out on SoundCloud right now, so you know it's picking up a little traction, and hopefully we can get it to be a banger for the summer.
How'd you get into this?
Well, you know, most black families, you know, they love playing music very loud. You know, so I don't know. I just love the whole idea of, you know, picking up a microphone or a hairbrush or whatever it was at the time I was a kid, and I just had this thing about me. I love to perform. So when I actually started really listening to music, my thing was I can memorize a song in a matter of hearing it once, maybe twice. So that kind of stuck to me, and then I don't know, for some reason everything sounded like a melody to me in my head. So I just started writing down what I was thinking about, and it just came to write songwriting. So that's how it kind of, you know, transpired. My mom, like, she loves singing. My aunt loves singing. So, you know, shout out to my aunt Stacy in Virginia Beach. I haven't seen you in a while, but I'm coming to see you. So yeah, she used to play SWB all the time. I used to sing along with that.
You're singing with Coco, huh?
Yeah. Boy, should have listened to my song.
Do you play any instruments?
Actually, no. That's the funny thing about it. I'm not musically inclined when it comes to any instruments. My only instrument is my voice. You know, I did try playing the keys for some time, but you know, I just got so busy with everything else, you know, life situations. So, but yeah, writing and singing is what I do.
Who's some of your favorite artists that you looked up to as a young child?
As a youth, of course, Michael Jackson. As a performer, he's the greatest, you know, in my opinion. And then you have Stevie Wonder. I loved his music, his ballads and everything about it. My favorite group of all time was Dru Hill. It still is Dru Hill. And that's kind of how I learned how to, you know, hone in my singing skills. Just trying to mimic what they were doing, emulating, you know, Cisco, Jazz, Woody, Nokia, all those guys, and listening to them. And as they were singing, I was singing along with them. And eventually, I was catching the notes. You know, first I wasn't catching it too well, but you know, after a while, I kind of got better at it. And then Jodeci, of course, and then. You know, I was more into the groups, you know. I do like a lot of the solo artists that were out, Music Soul Child at the time, Babyface, anything that had any kind of soul to it, I was listening to, you know. So that's where it kind of stemmed from.
So what do you like to write, ballads more than anything?
Well, I had phases in my writing career. So depending on where I was in my life, that's how I was writing. So when I was a teenager, it was more hip hop influence. So I went from transitioning from, you know, since it was ballads in my mom's house, growing up as a teen, listening to Jay-Z, Nas, Biggie, you know, DMX and all those guys. So it started becoming more hip hop influence. And then all my friends were rappers. I was the only R&B singer around. So it kind of got more street. But then as I got older, I kind of remember the essence of what I first started to listen to, and then I started writing more ballads. So now we're in 2018. R&B isn't as, you know, present as it could be or should be, it's definitely needed. I agree, and and that's why I'm trying to bring back the essence, but I'm not trying to also bring people back into a time capsule either. I'm not trying to be that guy like, oh, he's holding on to something that doesn't really exist. I'm making it relevant. You know what I'm saying? So I have a blending of how I'm doing my music. So the songs I choose to write to are more updated type of sound, but with a very heavily R&B influence behind it.
How did growing up all those different places influence your style?
It kind of did help a lot. Being in Queens, it was more so, fun, hanging out with your friends and stuff like that. So I would just write about everyday stuff. Like I have a song called Southside Rider. And it was just about my day-to-day life in Southside Jamaica, Queens. Going to Jamaica Ave, copping a T-shirt, riding some Air Force, going to the Coliseum. So I literally, that's what the whole story is all about, just Southside. And then, growing up in Florida, being that there wasn't too much New York vibes around there, I kind of circled myself about people like myself who just moved out there, but we're from New York. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of kept my New York essence. I didn't really start talking with twang or accents like them, what I could, none of that, but it was cool. I had love for everybody out there, but I was still in New York at heart. So at that time, that's when it was kind of like, I was heavily more so into hip hop because I was trying to hold on to something that I already had, So when I got back to New York, it was just me. That's when I was able to really entertain what I used to do. Like the real R&B, the ballads and stuff like that. So I started more relationship type situations started to happen with me. I had my exes, my ex baby mother, all that stuff. So all that stuff kind of influenced how I was feeling at the time. So every little step in my life kind of transitioned my way of writing.
Would you say you're still a big storyteller in that way?
Absolutely. I try not to really focus on my stories, but I make everything I do relatable.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I make it where, I'm not saying generic in a sense, but where it could be a real thing. I have me, something like that. Like I literally my sister just heard the record and she's like, damn, that joint reminds me of how I feel about my new boo. You know what I'm saying? We were just talking about, listening to the record, and I was like, that just reminds me how I met my boo thing. I was like, all right, cool. So somebody can feel early to it. So I just make relatable music all around.
So you said I'm sorry, not to cut you off. You said that you grew up like in a lot of R&B groups.
Yeah.
Did you ever have the feeling of wanting to be in a group?
It's funny. I did and I didn't. I kind of fell into a group by accident when I was in high school in Florida. I was a new kid coming from Queens, and nobody knew who I was. But then I, of course, went to chorus, and then that's when everybody found out who I was. This kid could really sing. This kid could really sing. So then, trickled down through school, found out there's another kid that could sing. Then found out there's another kid that could sing.
Okay.
So all four of us during lunchtime, we would just sit there kind of like a quartet or like Boys to Men, just sing all the R&B group songs. That's how we used to do it. So yeah, we used to sing Boys to Men, Drew Hill, all of them, Jagged Edge, and that's kind of how we did our thing. But we never really made it a real thing, a real official group. That was the only real time I actually had a group thing going. But I would have loved to have been in a group, but I guess, I'm just one of those guys that just never really had that opportunity, or just my music just was,
not yet.
Not yet,
It's always time.
There's definitely always time. So if there are other R&B artists out there that, want to, join together and just make something happen, I kind of miss that whole TGT vibe,
Right. Yeah, that's
it's a shame that they ain't even get, but it's all good.
So I want to know about how you came up or got your name, Royale.
Alright, so that's funny. When I was in Florida, everybody just looked at me like I was different because, coming from New York, my hair's not long right now, but when my hair grows out, it's really, really curly. So there's like, this looks kind of unique. He ain't like everybody else, so they used to call me unique. And out there, everybody, has dreads, they wear their shorts kind of crazy. I was like more put together. It's like, you like pretty boy. So I actually, I was like a chocolate pretty boy. So I tattooed pretty boy across my neck, and that's what they used to call me, unique the pretty boy. And that's what I used to go by when I was in Florida, but I kind of like let go of that image when I moved back to New York and Harlem. I was like, yo, I'm trying to hold my throne, like have my own little monarchy. So I want to be more like royalty. So I dubbed myself Royale. You know, and it's funny because I named my son. His middle name is Royal Alexander, and it's kind of like intertwining of Royale. So Roy and Al, I put that. That's his middle name. So yeah. So yeah, Roy Alexander. So that's how I took the name Royale, and I just had like a different look. When I was back at home, I realized that everybody was kind of like, you know, had the same like vibe as far as they used to dress and everything like that. So I decided, you know what, I'm like 21, 22 at this time, I don't want a suit. So I was just, I just threw on suits, and I wore suits every single day while everybody's outside wearing, you know, the ACG boots.
In the summer?
Yeah, in the summer. In the summer, yeah.
Oh, you see, Bob.
Yeah. I always had a suit on, and then another thing was that anytime anybody saw me, I was always wearing the color black. I never, since 2005, I've only worn the color black.
So you just don't get hot.
That's your favorite color?
I'm just consciously do it.
It's not even a favorite thing. It's just a lifestyle thing now. Everything from the T-shirt to the socks to the sneakers, everything black. That's it.
And brown.
That's
right.
All day. So you know, so Royale just became like my thing, you know, and it stuck with me, and everybody knows me as Royale now.
Do you have any new projects coming up and performances?
Yeah, I'm actually working on a couple things right now. Like I literally just, it's kind of like one of those, you know, pop-up album type situations. I just want to see how much you can catch. I just dropped the single out and boom, like here's my single, listen to my single. And it's only been out for 4 days, and it's almost hitting like 200 plays on SoundCloud. So it's kind of picked up some traction. But right now I'm just focusing on that single for the summer. I do have something right after that. I have a lot of music ready, like kind of like archives and stuff that I've been waiting to put out, and I decided to finally just put out. And I do have a couple performances that I'm coming out with, something later this month, and then some shows later down the road. So, yeah.
And the title of that song is?
Compatible.
It's on SoundCloud, right?
It is on SoundCloud right now.
You gotta check that out. Compatible on SoundCloud.
Just look for Royale. You know?
So do you have other projects that you've already done?
Previous to this, yeah, I've had some music that I did. I kind of like I said, it's been a while since I've been in the business and the industry, so I kind of just like took everything down and just like a restart. So anything that I had previously, if you heard it, you heard it. If you didn't, you didn't. It's kind of that situation. So now it's just like everything is brand new, fresh. You know?
Sometimes it's the best way to do it.
Absolutely, I agree. I don't want, you know, people think about, oh yeah, that's the guy that used to, oh I heard this from, no, it's just like it's like maybe you heard it, man. I just came out of nowhere.
So you're rebranding yourself?
Exactly.
And with doing that, what do you do? Do you go to showcases?
Yes, I'm doing a lot of performances. Like right now, I know people like, oh, well, when are you gonna get the album? I don't know if I have any questions. I can answer that for you. Right now, there's not gonna be an album. It's solely just music, and whoever listens to it can enjoy it. And then eventually, when the time is right, we will come up with a project and make an album. But right now, we're pushing Compatible heavy, and then the next single will drop sometime before the summer.
Now you can get away with anything. You put 7 songs and make a whole album. It's not cheap no more. You can literally do it.
You got a lot of people like in this business, and I learned that. You know, people focus on certain things, but people's attention span is literally like this big.
That's so true.
So you gotta keep them entertained by something, you know what I'm saying, on a regular basis. So if I give you an album right after I drop the single, you're probably gonna listen to that single, maybe the second and third song, and after that you're not even gonna remember my song on my album. So I just want to keep you guys focused on one thing right now, and then eventually after it's like embedded in you, we jump on to the next thing. That's it. I'm just trying to build it like that.
What do you think with your music, is it more appealing to women or to men? Like, who do you cater to? Are you trying to give the male perspective on things? Or you're like pro-woman, I understand you women, it's female empowerment time?
That's actually a pretty good question. As a writer, I try not to be gender biased, because I want it to be a situation that if you could revert it to you as a woman or revert it to you as a male, it can still be real. It can still be understood. So a lot of my songs, like this song in particular, I'm talking directly to a woman. But in other songs you're gonna hear, it's gonna be like, it's not gonna be a he or a she, or, you know, because it doesn't matter who it is. You know, it could be somebody who necessarily doesn't like guys, or doesn't like girls. It could be anybody who just loves who they love. You know what I'm saying? So when you hear the songs, like, oh wow, that's great. You know who I kind of learned that from? listening to like certain artists like the Vandross, he wasn't always gender biased.
That's true.
Sam Smith wasn't gender biased.
That's true.
So I listen to those guys. I'm like, you know what? That actually makes sense because anybody could be in that situation.
When you have a person like R. Kelly, we're
Right.
like, yes,
Yes.
we know who he's
Yeah,
talking
we tell
about.
exactly.
I hear you say we a couple times. I was just wondering, as an independent artist, who are some of your main supporters?
But right now, we is the family. The name of my company is Royal Status Entertainment, and right now it's solely behind me. But I mean just anybody who listens. You know what I'm saying? That's the only way I'm gonna make it. If we listen, if we support, if we do this, if everybody comes to my show, we are the people that's gonna make Royale who it's supposed to be, or make that music the way it's supposed to be. So I really don't have anybody backing me right now as far as in my business, as far as what I do, other than my wife and my immediate family.
So that's important too.
Yeah, absolutely,
Foundation.
absolutely. That's the foundation. But we as a group, just people in general, anybody who loves R&B, those people right there, that's who's gonna help this music be what it is. So we need to push this record.
He's on it.
That's right.
Anything else you want to say to the fans?
Well, thank you for anybody who's already listened to the record. If you haven't already listened to it, please support my social media. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram. You can find me on Instagram at Flyboy Royale. You can find me on Twitter at twitter.com/Flyboy Royale. Same thing with my Facebook, Flyboy Royale. And if you want to see any of my music on SoundCloud, just check it out on soundcloud.com/Royale the Stallion. That's STYLLION. That's about it. And thank you guys for having me.
Thank you so very much.